Sunday the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, and it's 11:30 in the morning. I'm just heading back to the sports club, Trinity Beach Sports Club, which is about a half-hour walk down the road. It's quite a warm day, 31 degrees currently, feels like 36. I would have to agree with that assessment. I'm hoping to get a bit of shade as I'm walking down. Compared to my walk from Cook Highway on Friday, this is going to be a doddle because at least I'm not carrying the backpack. So that's the good news. And the other thing is, last time I was there, they had a courtesy bus leaving at 1:30. So I might take them up on that offer, just see how I feel. But yeah, just give it a go. Walking one way would be enough today. There's a bit of a breeze, so that's nice. I've been listening to this guy, obviously a huge Elon Musk fan. This guy's actually gone and decided to read out a biography on Elon Musk that was just released, I think last year maybe. It's pretty contemporary. And he's not a professional at it. He's got a good microphone and what have you, so he's quite clear, but his reading style is far from smooth and professional. But it's okay. He's not too bad for an amateur. So I have been listening to it, and it's quite amazing. But you know, this is how dedicated the guy is. He recorded stuff in one session. Well, one video anyway, went for 11 hours. So he's reading out this stuff for 11 hours in front of his microphone. That's dedication. And it is interesting to hear about Musk. I have read an Elon Musk biography, or at least listened to it. It was an audio of a written biography on him. And yeah, obviously he's an interesting guy, there's no doubt about it, because like most people who are sort of high achievers, I mean, they've got their quirks, and he's certainly got his. And I thought I was fairly much aligned with him politically, you know, in libertarian terms, because I assumed he was a libertarian, but I think there's also a lot of expediency in his decisions politically these days, because he's so protective of his businesses. You know, he's prepared to turn a blind eye. You know, he's quite happy to schmooze up to the Chinese Communist Party, for instance. And so that's not a good look for me. I don't know how close those relationships are, but certainly by cultivating such relationships would make business run a lot smoother. There's no doubt about it. And I think that's his primary task. That's his, maybe, I was going to say his kids, treats it like his family. Well, he does have a huge family, sort of, but they're all spread out. He's certainly spread his seed wide and far. Quite a few women have born his children, so I guess you can say that's a good thing. We might get a few more Elon Musks floating about in the near future. You just never know. No guarantees with that though. It's usually a unique combination that produces a sort of a driven person like that. But yes, it will be interesting to see how they grow up, because you know, it would be an amazing thing if we had quite a few entrepreneurs who are that visionary. But look, it's an interesting story. It's one thing we have in common. It was talking about him before when he just went to Canada, so that was early on. He just got out of South Africa. I think he was only about 20 years of age, and he studied in Canada. Basically a stepping stone to get into the States, from what I can gather. But he's actually, he's also a person who got hooked on Civilization, the strategy game. I played it from the word go, and he does love strategy games. He likes resource allocation games. He'd probably like Farthest Frontier, which I've been playing quite obsessively over the last 6 to 12 months. When I say obsessively, it's not like it's even every day, but most days and for a few hours, but not like he was doing where he sort of closeted himself away and just, you know, be totally fixated on it. I'm not quite that obsessive, but I do enjoy it. But it's a game you can sort of, you know, go in and out of quite easily, and I prefer it that way. It keeps me fresher. But it's got enough variety, enough variations to make it interesting. So no two games would be the same. No way, it's impossible. It's just too complex for that. Once you get the hang of it, of course, it's then you get into the nuances. I just found some shortcuts to do stuff yesterday. So, but that's probably more to do with the fact I'm not that observant. I'd say that's definitely one of my greatest weaknesses, my lack of vigilance when it comes to observing things around me. But anyway, yeah, amazing. A guy's spent in excess of 11 hours, because there's another video of him doing other chapters after. I think that got him up to about chapter 63 of the biography, with the 11-hour stint, and I think there's another 6 hours or something to top it up after that. So I'd be interested to see what the latest stuff's like, because the other biography would have probably been set about a decade ago, and a lot's happened in Musk's personal and business life in that period of time, of course. Wow, look at that. Plenty of bird life here. Again, there's no breeze down Kawara Street. That's what you really need, because it's just, it does tend to lack a bit of shade. Down this part's okay, but once you get to where the vacant block is on the left there, it's a bit sparse. So I figure by the time I get up to the actual sports club, I'm going to be so dehydrated. The first beer's going to go down beautifully. So I only had one last time. I only had one schooner when I was there. So mainly there for the pizza. But, you know, might have a couple of drinks, although it's not cheap compared to the happy hour, as I've said. It's about, what would it be? It's about 25%, 30% more expensive to have a drink there. So it's not insubstantial. The happy hour deal is amazing. That might be a bit, I may say 20%. It's about 20% more expensive to have a drink at the Trinity Sports Club. But yeah, I doubt whether I'd get a pizza. Well, there's no way I'd get a $13 pizza at the beach house. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts. And I can sit outside. I mean, it's nice to be near the beach, I've got to admit. But I sort of like looking out to the field at the Trinity Sports Club. It's quite nice. Boy, it's a big contrast, isn't it? I mean, look at this. This week ago, this would be flooded and quite cool. But now it's back to pretty well stock standard summer conditions in Cairns. And so I wouldn't be doing this every day, but I do feel good to have a walk. Well, there's a bit of a breeze now, so thank God for that. It's nice. I didn't even bother asking Steve. I just figured there's no way he was going to go out today. He'd contact me if he could. So it's a shame. I wish I'd heard some good news from him, but I might give him a call when I get back, or definitely call him Christmas Day anyway. Hopefully their mental state's a bit better. I wonder what that place is going for. It's pretty amazing. Look, it's huge. Looks like it's the size of a boarding house. If it's a private residence. And the old Queenslander, by the looks of things, where they put garages underneath. I don't think originally that would have been the case. Most of your classic Queenslanders just have their stilts and an open area below the house itself, from what I've seen. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm no expert on architecture, but I have an interest, but that's about it. According to one of the viewers, I'm not an expert on water catchment either. I don't remember actually saying I was, but anyway. But I do have an opinion, and luckily I live in a country where it is still allowed. Hopefully it'll stay that way for a while. Over street now, I'm heading to the inner sanctum on this roughly hewed pathway. Let's just go through here and then we're back in suburbia. That's quite nice the way they've actually put the plants on the side, have landscaped it. Not bad. Yeah, well, that's most of the walk out of the way. Feeling a bit puffed, but a bit hot. But, you know, just thinking, imagine what it would have been like having to be one of those poor POWs working on the Thai Burma railway. Oh, gee. And this be these sort of conditions, but with no amenities whatsoever. Because of, in the Japanese eyes, all POWs have no honour. So they get treated like crap. So it's not a great psychological place to be in, knowing that your overseers really couldn't give a crap about you and think you're lower than the lowest. So, yeah, it's inconceivable what people can do to one another. Of course, that's a system that does that. The same sort of thing happening in a place like Russia, where they're just, as they're now describing, the new recruits haven't got the training or the equipment, but they're thrown into the front lines, and it's a meat grinder. And they just don't care about people. It's a different attitude, sanctity of life, totally different. And you wonder how much pain the wives and the mothers of these hapless conscripts, how much they're going to put up with. I mean, they've obviously got a much higher tolerance level in the West. Conflict wouldn't have gone on as long as it has if it had been initiated by the West, because there would have been too many protests. But it's a different place, a totally different mindset. And who knows what it's going to take. I think it'll be a different place after this, though. I think this will cause irresolvable cracks in their society, but it's just a guess. No one knows. So many different outcomes are possible, so I wouldn't want to pick what's happening. I doubt very much whether Ukraine will lose, because already the West is starting to worry about the fact that they haven't given them the support that they should have. They haven't followed through with promises, and that they aren't doing as well as they hoped. So one would hope that something will change soon, because, you know, we take our lives up here for granted. In Australia, it's just one of the best places to be on a global level. I don't take it for granted, and I do count my blessings. What do they play sport here? Maybe it's Saturday afternoon. I've never really seen these facilities used. They're quite good. Extensive facilities. Explains why Queensland always seems to do well in interstate contests in whatever sporting event you're talking. Oh, the breeze is nice. Oh, that is beautiful. And I'm having a bit of shade today. Hasn't been a bad walk. Oh, and I'm not feeling too bad considering. I think if you feel pessimistic at the beginning of a walk, low expectations, it's easy to be exceeded. And I think it might be a case in point here. Not so bad. Anyway, there's the edifice with lots of cold amber and delicious pizzas. Back in the heat wave, I was thinking about getting the courtesy bus back, but I think I'd have to wait another 40 minutes. Stuff it, I'll just walk it. It is pretty warm out though. bit of a breeze there, that's good. This is that's half the pizzas in this little box here. So it's quite easy to take home. I had it in my bag last time I did this, but just easy to carry, no problem. As long as some ravenous dog doesn't come up to me. Yeah, just as I got my pizza delivered, I got a phone call from Steve, my neighbour, and they're having a get-together on Christmas Day because they're all being fairly isolated with COVID and what have you. And he's got no COVID symptoms, and he's been off it for ages, well in excess of a week or two. And he said that the tests apparently can show a positive result up to 90 days after you've actually kicked it, so they're not exactly brilliant. So I can roll the dice and go there, and it'd be nice to sort of catch up, I guess. He also said he could barbecue my my turkey, because it'd be a tight squeeze in the microwave, the convection microwave oven. So yeah, they got neighbours showing up, and so I'll turn up there tomorrow morning, because I've got to, takes a couple of hours for the turkey to cook. It's a 4.5 kilos, so it's going to take a while, but at least he's got something reasonably sized to do it. Actually, it's probably, I probably should get something like that myself, because I can use one of those enclosed barbecues to do that type of cooking if I've got a big piece of meat or something, but it rarely occurs. So anyway, so the pizza was nice. One thing, I went outside today and it was just too hot, and there were people actually kicking a football around on the field. I couldn't believe it. Maybe they were doing training or something. There's about half a dozen guys out on the field, so that was extraordinary. I couldn't really record any of it for, well, there's two reasons. They had all the music playing in the background, and secondly, the light was so bright outside, it was all for sort of, it would have been totally unrecognizable, because the darkness inside stuffed up the way the camera was doing the exposure. So it would have been it would have been blinding light. You probably can't even see what was happening out in the field, because it was overwhelmed by the dark interior it's being shot from. Well, this little wooden bridge survived the floods, so yeah. It's very pleasant around here, but I'll probably be absolutely stuffed once I get to Kawara Street. But it's a bit more of a breeze now, so that's good. But yeah, it's a warm one. Although I did see a couple of people walking down the street when I came to the sports club today, so I'm not the only crazy guy out today in the warmth. Oh boy, starting to feel it now. Not as much breeze, that's the problem. It's been fairly breezy most of the walk. A little bit there, a bit of a wisp, not brilliant, but oh boy, I could do with a rest and some cold drinks with a lot of ice. Well, it's Thursday morning, 28th of December, and it's quite warm already. Apparently it's 26 and it feels like 30, and I could attest to that. I think it is. It's a very early start for me. It's not even 7 o'clock yet. It's I'm going to get the 7:02 bus, and I've got an early appointment. I've also got a Coles delivery slotted in for later this Savo, so that shouldn't be an issue, but doesn't matter anyway. Yep, they can leave the groceries there if they want to. Not my preferred option, but have to be flexible on these things. Main thing is I want a lot more sparkling mineral water, because I'm going through a crap load of it. got totally wasted on Christmas Day. I was going to catch up with friends, my neighbours just down the road here, but unfortunately they're still testing positive on COVID, and seeing I've got respiratory issues, I chickened out. I told them I would come when they rang, but I did a bit of research online, and apparently you can stay positive for quite some time and be a carrier for 30 days or so, maybe longer, maybe 90 days. Yeah, dog walkers are out in force, of course. Makes perfect sense. If you want to walk your dog, this is the best time of the day to do it. Probably even earlier, before the sun comes out. It's a big bird there. Yeah, so I did cook my turkey, and the major issue with that is that it was elevated on a stand. You always use a stand when you're cooking meat in the convection part of the convection microwave oven. When you're on that cycle, you need to put the food in the centre of the oven so the air flows around it. But what I found out after I made a bit of a hash of it, I got a lot of liquid on the floor of the kitchen, because, you know, turkeys, 4.5 kilo turkey, produces a lot of excess liquid when you cook it. So there's a bit of mopping up that took place, but I could have avoided it by simply not putting the rotating glass plate that's at the bottom of the microwave. You don't have to use that. That's really just for microwaving, because the way this oven works, I've watched it, the element only goes on for a very short time, so it's very cost effective, I guess. The reason being, I suppose, is because the cavity inside the oven is quite small, the air cavity, so it doesn't take long for the ambient heat to sort of reach, say, 180 degrees C. It only took a couple of minutes, and so you don't really need to have the rotation happening to make sure the meat doesn't get overly cooked on one section. It's just not really needed, because it's really just getting heat from all directions. So basically I ditched the that glass plate, the rotating plate, and it provided me with a bit more space inside the cavity of the oven, which was crucial, because a 4.5 kilo turkey's quite a large bird by my standards. Oh, I never did get to check out their lights before Christmas. Ah, damn. Should have done that. Oh, it's quite sticky out today. It's not pleasant at all. At this hour, it's strange, because we have got heat wave conditions apparently. So anyway, I had the turkey. I got it cooked. It took about 3 hours or so to cook it, and the meat was nice. There's no problem at all with the meat. I made a bit of gravy, and that was tasty. I dipped it in gravy. I didn't bother making spuds and things. It's a bit warm at the moment, so, you know, anything like that sort of, it's real salad sort of season as far as food's concerned, I feel. So anyway, I got it done, and then I hit the old Jameson's Irish whiskey, and it was a bit of a blur after that. It was like mid-afternoon that I had my first drop of whiskey, and as I say, a bit of a blur. Certainly I felt the effects the next day. I haven't hit it that hard for a long time, so I had a couple of alcohol-free days after that, and might even extend on that. We'll see how we go. It's a real shame about Steve and Yvonne's place. I mean, I would have loved to have caught up with them for Christmas. As a matter of fact, they did have a guest over, a neighbour, and she was a nurse, so she was quite happy to spend time with them. They were also eating indoors because it was so hot, and I was thinking if we were dining outdoors, I wouldn't feel as bad, because that's definitely a safer option if you're being exposed to someone who's got it. But I just can't take the risk. I've already missed 2 treatments because of the floods. So it's just this time of the year especially, it's just not really good. And then I've got the overseas trip coming up on top of everything else. And I mean, I've had enough bad luck with overseas trips in this year. I don't want to be basically in the same boat in 2024. I want this one to come off, because if the weather's going to continue on like this, I want to get out of Cairns for at least a month over summer. It's just really hot. Oh yeah. Yeah, I actually looked up. I've been really slack with my my attempted writing, getting back into writing some short stories. I wrote one, and I just let it sit there for about 6 months, and I actually found it. I found a full copy of it, and yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought. I really thought it was a piece of crap, but it wasn't that bad. But I'm never satisfied with what I write anyway. But one thing that pisses me off is I found out that Microsoft had this thing called Word 365, and it looked like it was a free program. It was a cut down version of the full commercial program, but it wasn't. It was only for a certain period of time, and now that free period has expired, which I don't remember even being mentioned. And now you have to basically pay for it, and it's not cheap. Like, it's every year you have to pay over $100 just to use Microsoft Word, the word processing program. It seems they're really greedy bastards. I mean, yeah, I think that's rude. I mean, they wouldn't even give you a lifetime license, and I thought, gee, that's lousy. Every year? I mean, even the virus softwares generally last for a bit longer than that. So yeah, that's pretty disappointing. And they're going. Oh, the other thing on top of that, they're going to get rid of WordPad, which is sort of like a cut down version, which has always been free. They're just going to get rid of it because they're obviously just trying to make money out of their software. So they're very mercenary. And I think it's bad PR, to be honest with you, but I'll be looking for an alternative to WordPad, because I need something to write with, and I don't really need all the bells and whistles of a full word processing package. So it's just very disappointing. Anyway, world's getting tougher. Yeah, it seems pretty apparent that the bus has been cancelled. This happened yesterday. Yeah, I think, yeah, it was yesterday. That's the only reason I found out that they're on a Monday to Friday schedule, but if they've cancelled the buses, it's totally irrelevant anyway. The timetable on this particular stop here only begins at 8:11, even though there are buses that are running for a couple of hours prior to that, so work that out. But yeah, it's hot and sticky. Wouldn't want to be out in the sun. It's not a very pleasant morning, and there's no sign of any buses coming at all. And I don't know when the next one was due. I probably should have checked that out. There's actually well, they should be on something like a half-hour schedule, so it should be like 7:30 for the next one, but who knows? Everything's cockeyed this time of year. I mean, obviously the staffing is an issue for them, and they can set up the Monday to Friday schedule if they don't have people turning up for work. You know, what can you do? First half hour since the last bus should have been up at the terminal. So I'm hoping that I'll see some action next 5-10 minutes. A couple of dog walkers have walked past and said hello, which is nice. A couple of ladies, actually, funnily enough. So couples, not so much. But yeah, it was good. Like I say, it's very humid. It's not too bad just sitting down here. It's quiet, it's reasonably pleasant. But not much I can do. I mean, there's no point me going back home. Just a waste. I'm not going to expend any more energy today than I have to. I think I'll be getting the long bus back if I ever do get down to Cairns today. Luckily, the the Coles deliveries between 4:30 and 5:30, so that's pretty good actually. It gives me quite a long window there, and they've got access to the place if they need to drop stuff off. So if for whatever reason I'm held up that late, which shouldn't happen, it'll still work out. But like I said, I don't think I'd even contemplate getting the 110 today, because that means I'd have to walk all the way. Well, not necessarily, but it depends how late it is in the afternoon. I might connect with the other bus, but I might not. And obviously, the staffing situation is at the moment with Kinetic, you can't count on anything. So, yeah, it looks as though they've got 2 days in a row where they've had missed a schedule with holes in it. Sure, it looks quite pleasant through the lens, but you don't feel the humidity. A little bit of a breeze helps a bit. Yeah, that's gusting up a bit now, so that's making it a little more pleasant. But when it's still there, yeah, it's quite oppressive. Well, I actually got the bus directly back today. I didn't even bother stopping at Smithfield because it's so bloody hot. Actually, there's a bit of a breeze. It feels a little drier than I thought it might. It was actually more humid in the morning. The bus driver that finally turned up, probably 20-25 minutes late, he kept stopping the bus in certain sections, like he was trying to make up for the timetable, but from what I could tell, he wasn't following any timetable that I knew of, so I found it really annoying. I mean, I can understand it if someone's actually getting to a place ahead of schedule. It's annoying for a passenger, but I don't think this guy was following any timetable. So that made it doubling annoying, because he did it several times. Once in Trinity Park, for in excess of 5 minutes, he just parked the bus. It's Tuesday, early morning, about 8:45, and that's my lemon tree, which is strange. It's growing really. I think it maybe needs to cut off and so it spreads out with its growth more, because it's sort of just like a vine. But this is the good news. This is the lime tree, and as you can see, there's actual flowers forming, and where there are flowers, eventually, hopefully, there's fruit. So that would be nice. But it's pretty damn warm, and it's getting me down, and I'm just got to go to the supermarket to get some frozen veggies, apart from fresh ones, because I need it as a backup, because the stuff that was delivered from Coles last week just basically turned to mush because the heat got to it. So, you know, it's been pretty rugged. And they say the severe weather's gone, according to the Bureau, but I see no indication, and it still feels pretty damn hot. It's still going to be 30 plus degrees today. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a wuss. I don't know, but just I'm feeling it. New Year's was good. I got a lift with friends down to the beach house. We had some food and a lot of drink, including shots that were paid for by very generous people at the table. Not that I'm a great fan of shots, I've got to say. They're okay, bit of a novelty, but they're not cheap. And you know, I feel guilty drinking all this expensive stuff. Yeah, also I got to meet one of my neighbours here, who actually she's originally from New Zealand. She's a nurse, and she just basically found it pretty tough finding a place to live, and ended up living just near my place, which from what I can gather, that would be her place just here on the corner. Trouble is, there's been some real issues with the people she's renting off, and that should be her place there, but she's moving out. She was not happy because apparently there's someone actually living in the rear of the property. There's like a granny flat there, and the people that rented it out to her didn't even tell them about it, tell her about it. It's pretty damn dodgy in my opinion. The other weird thing is when she actually looked for this property online, she went through realestate.com. There was a big red warning saying that, basically saying beware of renting from this property. Yet she went ahead and did it, but I guess she was pretty desperate, and it just indicates how good it is to actually not have to be involved in the renting rat race. I couldn't handle that. It just drives me nuts. I mean, I did do it when I first came up here, and I got a very small rental place in a fairly noisy block of flats in Parramatta Park, and it was pretty well substandard, you know. I mean, I would have paid for more, but I wasn't allowed to because it's all based on your income. I was a pensioner, even though I had stacks of assets. That's irrelevant. I mean, it's so absurd. This world is absolutely crazy, insane. Whew, it's a little bit of a breeze, but it's still damn hot. Yeah, I know, I was whinging about the rain and now I'm whinging about the heat. I think actually, well, the rain's pretty bad. Depends on your property. I didn't get flooded, so I can't really complain. Some people really got hit hard, but it was at least cooler. The thing is, you can't really do much when you can't go outside because it's just totally soaked. And then now we've got the other extreme, which it's dry, but it's just so damn hot and draining. So it's just taken a whole lot of effort just for me to go up to the shops today. I'm looking forward to being an air-conditioned bus and the air-conditioned shopping centre. But I'm just going to basically go to Woolies and pick up some stuff. And that's about it. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to possibly going overseas next month, because anything to escape the heat. It's hard to say how the rest of summer's going to pan out, but so far it's been a shocker. We've still got the Christmas decorations up there. Yeah, anyway, New Year's was good, and they had a cover band on, and the drinks went up to about $8.20, which isn't too bad, I guess, for a schooner. Boy, I reckon I probably spent $80. I probably had about 10 schooners, so I had quite a bit of drink. Maybe it was 8, I don't know, but then I had the shots on top of it, so I wasn't exactly sober walking back home with the gang. But anyway, it was a very nice night, and they weren't a bad cover band. They were quite good. The volume was good. Apparently, the owner probably is going to get fined. He knew he was going to get fined by having live music because there's been a complaint previously, but just decided to wear it. So that's the thing about businesses. Although I've got to say, I'm sure he made a stack of money that night because it was pretty packed out early on, especially. Yeah, so it was a good night. It was a very good night. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.